Friends, welcome to youtube.com oblique Dr. Vet channel. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor Head, Veterinary Medicine here. We are dealing with very important disease of the dog, eclampsia disease. Here we deal with part 2. In this part 2, we will see pathogenesis and clinical findings of eclampsia disease. It is a very important metabolic disease because it is frequently occurring in the dogs. In the dispensary or in the clinics, the clinician get such cases often. So this is very important disease. Friends, we start with pathogenesis of eclampsia disease. It is very important to understand the pathogenesis. It is very easy. Friends, remember, feeding of high level of dietary calcium during non-lactating pregnancy period is responsible for the disease. Again, feeding of high level of calcium in diet during non-lactating pregnancy period predisposes the bitches for this hypocalcemia. Now how this happens? This feeding of high dietary calcium level during non-lactating pregnancy period suppresses the secretion of parathyroid hormone from parathyroid gland. The function of parathyroid hormone is to increase the blood calcium level. At the same time, it stimulates the secretion of calcitonin. The function of calcitonin is to reduce the blood calcium level. This is the regulatory mechanism. So because of the first two lines of cause we have seen, and that causes down regulation of calcium regulatory system. Remember, it decreases the regulation of calcium homeostasis system. We continue the pathogenesis. Now, when there is high calcium demand, that means after lactation, after parturition during lactation, there is high calcium demand. So, clinical hypocalcemia occurs because it is downgraded calcium regulatory mechanism. Thus, feeding of oral calcium during pregnancy predisposes bitches for the eclampsia. So one should not feed high calcium during pregnancy. Loss of calcium through milk, it increases when the large litter size, large number of the puppies are sucking the bitch, or when the neonates are large, they require more milk and they suck the milk. At the same time, less dietary intake of calcium, this all causes combined together produce hypocalcemia. Over and above, immobilization of calcium from bone to serum is inadequate to maintain this calcium imbalance, and this results into the hypocalcemia. In the previous slides, we have seen how this hypocalcemia occurs due to downgrading of calcium homeostasis mechanism during lactation. Here we will see how this calcium is responsible for T10, how it causes T10. Ionized calcium is involved in the release of acetylcholine during neuromuscular transmission. So, release of acetylcholine for neuromuscular transmission is a must and it causes contraction. Calcium is essential for muscle contraction and stabilize nerve cell membrane by decreasing permeability to sodium. Now during hypocalcemia, the nervous system become more excitable, more excitation, tetanic symptoms occur due to increase in this neuronal permeability. Continue the presentation. How the calcium is responsible for contraction and increases or decreases the permeability that we have seen. Then what will happen? Then nerve fiber discharges spontaneously initiating impulses to skeletal muscle. It occurs spontaneously. It occurs spontaneously and they elicit a tetanic contraction. Now this spontaneous repetitive signal, it is not a one signal. It is a spontaneous and repetitive signal for contraction to motor nerve fiber results in tetany. So tetany is due to spontaneous repetitive again and again signaling to motor nerve. In dogs, hypocalcemia causes excitatory effect on muscles and nerve fiber. But in cows, we have seen in the milk fever cases hypocalcemia. It causes not excitatory but depressive effect on the muscle and nerve fiber. So in dogs and in cows, the effect of hypocalcemia is not matching. In dogs, it is hypocalcemia is an excitatory effect on muscle fiber and nerve fiber. Friends, in the previous presentation we have seen how calcium homeostasis is affected when high calcium is given during pregnancy. How calcium causes tetany, that also we have seen. Now we will see the clinical signs. Here, the history of pregnancy or early lactation is important for helping the diagnosis. The early signs are panting, the dog's panting by keeping the tongue hangs out. That is natural for the dog. And restlessness. These are the early signs. Then there is crying. It is in dog it is called as whinnying. Whinnying is a making of long, high-pitched cry or sound by a dog. Frequently you might have observed this cry of the dog. The dog becomes very aggressive. There is excitement and there is hypersensitivity to even normal stimuli. Dog become hypersensitive, active, more active, even to the normal stimuli. We have seen that hypocalcemia causes excitatory aggressive symptoms. There may be a poor maternal care. The dog may not care about the puppies. There is hypersalivation, dyspepsia, anorexia. There is decreased appetite for the food, increased respiratory rate. That already we have seen that there is panting and dog hangs out the tongue. There is hypersalivation. Muscle become tight, so there is stiffness of joint. There is twisted gait. We continue with the clinical signs. there is incoordination of the movement, ataxia, the gait is staggering. In the initial stage, there is mild tremors, twitching, or muscle spasms. But slowly and immediately it progresses to a severe form, tetany, tonoclonic convulsion. See here, tonoclonic convulsion, both tonic convulsion and clonic convulsion. This means that there is a violent spasmodic contraction of all muscle groups of the body, and that is called as a opisthotonus. Due to contraction of all muscles of the body, the head is retracted back, the forelegs are stretched forward, the hind legs stretched backward, there is tightening of the muscle of the back, and the animal assumes a concavity of the back. All muscles are under spasmodic contraction, and that gives the posture of opisthotonus. Continuation of the clinical signs. Here, hyperthermia is observed in severe cases. Temperature may range from 103 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, even up to 107 and 108 degrees Fahrenheit. Here, there is no infection, but there is temperature that is due to severe muscle contraction. It produces heat, so it is called as hyperthermia. Slowly, the tetany contraction spread all over the body. There is generalized convulsive seizures. Finally, the animal reaches to a coma stage, and at the end, there is death of the beach. Friends, we have seen the symptoms detail. If timely treatment is given, appropriate treatment is given, we'll see later on. We can save the animal. If timely treatment not given, then it pursues to the death. Request to share this information to veterinary officers because it is important in the clinics. To promote the channel, requested to subscribe the channel. Thank you very much for observing the videos.